What's going on, everyone? JJ Zachariason here with the weekly start sit Q&A. We got a lot of news going on. Lamar Jackson, as you can see right below me, he's inactive. So we got Tyler Huntley. He's getting a start for Baltimore. I have a list of things that I just want to read off because there are so many inactives, and I'm probably even going to miss some of the smaller inactives. But Lamar Jackson's out, and also Hollywood Brown is out. So if either of them are in your lineup, get them out. Aaron Rodgers has a toe injury. He's going to play, but apparently it's a bigger issue than what you might expect. CEH is going to be back for Kansas City. I would still expect Darrell Williams to see the majority of work in that backfield this week. Kyler Murray, he's out, or he's likely going to be out. DeAndre Hopkins is out. Elijah Mitchell, he's out. Jeff Wilson's going to be likely the bell cow back in that backfield this week. Who knows what happens and what will go down with the San Francisco offense, just given what we've seen, through the last couple of seasons or few seasons with Kyle Shanahan. Baker Mayfield is banged up. Donovan Peoples-Jones is out. Anthony Schwartz is out too. I don't even have that on this list, but Anthony Schwartz is out too. So they really only have Jarvis Landry at wide receiver. I'm assuming they're going to throw a lot of tight ends out there. Jared Goff is out. Tim Boyle's in. Curtis Samuel's out. He's not going to come back. Alvin Kamara is out. Jerry McNichols is out, which means Deontay Foreman's probably going to see a decent workload against his former team that drafted him. Amari Cooper is out, so big bump for Michael Gallup. RSJ is out. Aaron Jones is out. Savon Ahmed's out, so that's a big boost for Myles Gaskin to see a massive workload today. And then Kenneth Gainwell is the odd man out with Miles Sanders coming back. And then from a weather standpoint, you have some weather going on that I'm not like overly concerned, but if you have a tiebreaker or if you're playing DFS, maybe sort of avoid these games. But Buffalo and Indianapolis, there's going to be a little bit of weather. Wind isn't that bad there. Wind isn't really that bad anywhere, but Buffalo and Indy, you got some issues. Tennessee, Houston, you got some issues, and Cleveland and Detroit, you have some issues as well. None of those weather scenarios am I shifting things dramatically from a season-long perspective, but I do think that it's at least something, for DFS. All right, let's get to these questions. This first one's non-PPR, 2 flex from Josh Jacobs, Jeff Wilson, Miles Sanders, Rashad Bateman, Manny Sanders, Hunter Renfrow. This is a lot of guys. Let's go with Jeff Wilson for sure out of that group, especially in non-PPR format. And then I think the other one, I'm probably going to go with Jacobs, but I think you can make the argument for either Manny Sanders or Hunter Renfrow. Half PPR pick 3, Gibson, Mark Ingram, Jeff Wilson, Deontay Foreman, Darrell Williams, and Michael Carter. First 3, they said. I would probably go with, the first 3, but I think that you can make the argument for Darrell Williams over Antonio Gibson this week for sure. Bears defense or San Francisco defense, I'm going with San Francisco, even with Lamar Jackson sidelined. Who to sit in half PPR, Bateman, Freeman, Corey Davis. I would bench Freeman probably with Latavius Murray coming back. Start 2 in half PPR, Bateman, Mike Williams, Emmanuel Sanders. I will sit Bateman of those 3. Tua or Cam, I have the exact same scenario. Actually, I don't anymore because Lamar Jackson's out, so I'm playing Cam. But I was going to play Tua over Cam Newton this week, so let's go with Tua over Cam. Lockett or Higgins in PPR. I think Higgins is a safer option, but I think Lockett provides more upside. Hey, JJ, thanks for everything you do. PPR pick 3 of 4, A.J. Brown, Mike Evans, Brandon Cooks, and T. Higgins. Thanks again. I'd probably bench Cooks there. The game environment from a weather standpoint, not the greatest. I think you can utilize that as a tiebreaker, and I would go A.J. Brown over Brandon Cooks straight up. PPR 1 running back, McKissick or Pollard. I will lean McKissick there. PPR 2 wide receivers, Higgins, Gallup. Actually, I might go Pollard over McKissick just because of that game environment. Go with Pollard. PPR 2 wide receivers, Higgins, Gallup, or Bateman. Let's bench Bateman. What would you go with for a DFS combo? Lamb and Gesicki or A.J. Brown and Kittle? I don't have a strong preference there. I really, really like CeeDee Lamb. That's why I'm leaning that way, but I'm not jumping for joy to use Mike Gesicki necessarily. I might lean that way though, just because I like CeeDee Lamb a lot. What tight end do you like the most today between Kittle, Waller, and Gesicki? I'm going to go Kittle. Michael Gallup, Rashad Bateman, or Michael Pittman in PPR pick 1. I'm still going with Michael Pittman there, but I think you can make the argument for Gallup. PPR pick 1, Mark Ingram, Jeff Wilson, Devontae Smith. If I had to drop Elijah Mitchell or Wilson, I would hopefully not drop either of them. I would play Jeff Wilson of those 3. If you need to drop Jeff Wilson for some reason, because you have to drop Wilson over Elijah Mitchell. If you have to drop if you have to drop Wilson, then just play probably Mark Ingram and just get that guaranteed volume. Projected to lose by 20. Help me, JJ. You're my only hope. Tannehill, Russ, or Cam. Let's go with Russ. Pick 2, Deontay Foreman, Emmanuel Sanders, Darnell Mooney, AJ Green. Let's go with the first 2. Pick 1, DJ Moore or Mark Ingram in full PPR. Let's go with Mark Ingram. Ayuk or Robbie Anderson. I'm going to lean Ayuk there. I don't mind Robbie Anderson. He was a deep sleeper on my sleeper show this week, but not deep. I guess he was just a sleeper. But I would go with Ayuk in a good matchup. Hard to bench Godwin, but is Waddle a better upside play versus the Jets? No, I would still go with Godwin. And then half PPR, pick 2, Michael Gallup, Emmanuel Sanders, Brandon Ayuk. Thanks. That's a really tough one. I think I'd go with Gallup and Sanders, but I can make an argument for Ayuk. They're all sort of in the similar tier. Hi, JJ, bench 1 and half PPR, Alex Collins, Miles Sanders, Bateman, or Landry. I'm not like totally in love with any of these options. I think I might bench Miles Sanders because we don't know what his workload is going to look like coming off the injury. But I could make the argument for any of these guys. I think Collins is probably a decent enough play. Landry being the only wide receiver there. Bateman's a little bit iffy just because Tyler Huntley's starting. I don't have a strong pull in any one direction there. Sorry, Clay. Half PPR need a tight end and a flex. Hawkinson, Freiermuth, Chase Claypool, or Manny Sanders. A tight end, I would probably go with Freiermuth over Hawkinson at this point because of the quarterback situation. And then I'm going to go with Manny Sanders over Chase Claypool. Full PPR, need a wide receiver and a flex. Lockett, Ayuk, Manny Sanders, Claypool. Let's go with Lockett and probably Sanders. Daniel Jones or Jimmy Garoppolo. Let's go with Jimmy G. Hey, JJ, half PPR, Jeff Wilson, Tyler Lockett, or Emmanuel Sanders. Let's go Jeff Wilson. PPR, would you trade Lockett to receive Cooper? I can't think trades on this show right now. I'm sorry, Raymond. Hit me up on Twitter so I can have a little bit more time to think about a trade because trades are a bigger deal than a start-sit decision. Hey, JJ, huge fan. Thanks. Standard league. Opponent is starting Herbert. I'm favored. Pick 2, Keenan Allen, Antonio Gibson, Thielen, Miles Sanders. Thanks. I would say, let me read this again. Standard league. Opponent is starting Herbert. I'm favored. Pick 2, Keenan Allen, Antonio Gibson, Thielen. Okay. Let's go with Keenan Allen and Adam Thielen. Ryan Tannehill or Justin Fields. I'm going Tanny. Hi, JJ, half PPR, pick 1, Alex Collins, Rashad Bateman, Chase Claypool. Let's go with Chase Claypool. Pick 2, PPR, Ayuk, Elijah Moore, or Mooney. Let's go with Ayuk and Mooney with no Allen Robinson. That's another player that I didn't mention at the start of the show. Allen Robinson's out. Full PPR, Adam Thielen or Devontae Smith. Let's go Adam Thielen. PPR, 1 wide receiver, 1 flex. DJ Moore, Godwin, Lockett, Antonio Gibson, Jeff Wilson. That's tough. I would probably go with Godwin and Wilson, but I can make an argument for Lockett in there as well. Tannehill or Russell Wilson. I think I'm leaning Russ a little bit with the weather in Tennessee. Start 2 and half PPR, DJ Moore, T. Higgins, Michael Pittman, Corey Davis, Michael Gallup. Let's go with Higgins and Pittman. Trade Jefferson I'm not going to do trades on here. It's too difficult. Best upside, dart throw, non-PPR, Pringle, Nico Collins, Quez Watkins, DeAndre Carter, Laviska. I actually talked up Quez Watkins on my sleeper show as a deep sleeper this week. Interesting slot matchup. He's been seeing a good number of or a decent enough target share in that offense. And Philadelphia might not be able to run the ball as much as they want, or as much as we would expect. So let's go with Quez Watkins there as the dart throw. I think he's a decent sleeper this week. JJ, you are the best. Thanks. Question. Start 2. 2 questions. Start 2. Fields, Simeon, Mayfield, Garoppolo. Let's go with Fields and Garoppolo there. And then better defense to pick up and stash for next week. Chicago at the Lions, Jets at Houston. Let's go with Chicago against the Lions. Hey, JJ, thanks for doing this. Half PPR, Rashad Bateman or Elijah Moore. I think it's close. I might still go with Rashad Bateman just because he's really the only wide receiver option that they have in that offense. Who are you feeling today in PPR? Lockett or Higgins? I think I answered this one earlier. Lockett for ceiling, Higgins more for floor. Montgomery or Waddle, I'm going Montgomery. Dawson Knox or Dalton Schultz, I'm going Dalton Schultz without Amari Cooper in the lineup. Bateman versus Robbie and Latavius Murray versus Collins. Let's go with Bateman over Robbie, and let's go with Collins over Latavius Murray. Ty Johnson or David Johnson in non-PPR. I don't like either of these guys at all. Non-PPR, I guess go with I don't know. I don't know, David. I'm sorry. I don't have a strong feel for either of these guys in a non PPR format. Let's go Ty Johnson, McLaurin or Higgins in the. I get really thrown off by like the random one off like super deep play. I can't sit here and pretend that I know that Ty Johnson or David Johnson is going to have a better day. McLaurin or Higgins in the flex non PPR. I kind of want to say Higgins here, but I think McLaurin's probably the safer play. Gronk or Goddard. I will go with Goddard with Gronk coming off the injury. Happy PPR pick one flex. Darrell Williams, McKissick, or Bryan Edwards. I'm going Darrell Williams. I still think Darrell Williams is a pretty legit RB2 this week. And McKissick, maybe he's in that discussion. Bryan Edwards, not really there. His peripherals are fine from an air yard share standpoint, but his target share is still not amazing. So let's go Darrell Williams there. PPR pick one, Mark Ingram, Jeff Wilson, Devontae Smith. I'll have to drop Elijah Mitchell. If I already answered this one. Hey, JJ, PPR pick one, Marquez Callaway, Agnew, AJ Green, or Bryan Edwards. Let's go with Marquez Callaway there. Tannehill or Cam, I'm going Tanny. Gibson or Jeff Wilson, let's go with Jeff Wilson. Half PPR start one, Terry McLaurin, Jalen Waddle, T. Higgins, or Corey Davis. Let's go with, I think Waddle's probably the safest play here. It's one of the first three. I don't think Corey Davis is part of this discussion. Don't have a super strong pull here, but I might go with Waddle. Pick two, PPR, Devontae Smith, Mike Williams, DJ Moore. Let's bench Moore. Just don't think you can trust him yet. Half PPR, Darrell Williams or Adrian Peterson. Going Darrell Williams. Tony or Bateman in PPR. I think Tony has more upside. Bateman's probably the safer play, though. Cam Newton or Tyler Huntley. I'm going with Cam Newton. Flex play, Pollard, D'Ernest, or Knox. Let's go with Pollard in what should be the highest scoring game of the week. Jeff Wilson or Gaskin in full PPR. I'm going Jeff Wilson, but Gaskin's in a great spot. He could easily go off. I try to find a way to get both those guys in my lineup. Sorry, my throat's a little sore today. Start Miles Sanders or wait for Saquon Barkley. I would just wait for Saquon. It sounds like he's going to go. Half PPR flex Bateman, Sanders, Claypool, Tony. Let's go with Sanders there. Pick one in 0.55 PPR. What is this? 0.5. I'm hoping this is half PPR and your league didn't throw you for a loop and you actually have a 0.55 PPR league. Anyway, I'm going to go with Claypool of those three. Full PPR, Tony or Mooney. Let's go with the upside with Tony. Mooney's not in the best spot in the world, even though Allen Robinson's out. Ayuk, Goddard, or Pollard in PPR. I'm the underdog. Let's go with Ayuk in a PPR format. Tua or Carr at quarterback. I think it's very, very close between the two of them. I'm probably going to lean Tua, but they're back-to-back in rankings this week. Half PPR flex, Terry McLaurin, Mark Ingram, T. Higgins, Rashad Bateman. Let's go with the guaranteed volume with Ingram there. Need 2.5 PPR, Mark Ingram, Pittman, Jeff Wilson, and Devontae Smith. I'm going to go with the two running backs. Pick 3.5 PPR, Gibson, Foreman, Higgins, Lockett, Bateman. Let's go with Higgins, Lockett, and Gibson. Full PPR, pick one running back, one flex, Gaskin, Darrell Williams, Michael Gallup. I think you got to play Gaskin there. It's between Williams and Gallup now. I'll say Gallup in a full PPR league. Tannehill, Burrow, or Cousins at quarterback. Let's go with Burrow. I love Burrow today. Full PPR flex, Brandon Ayuk, Latavius Murray, Rashad Bateman, Jamal Agnew, or Marvin Jones. I will go with Brandon Ayuk there. Half PPR, Michael Carter or T. Higgins. I'm going T. Higgins. Goddard or Knox in PPR. Let's go Goddard. Hawkinson or Arnold in half PPR. I'm going Arnold. Hey, JJ, Tannehill or Burrow and Devontae Smith or Pittman. Thanks for all you do. I'd go Burrow and I'd still go with Pittman over Devontae, I think, but it's pretty close. Hey, JJ, thanks for everything. What do you like better this week in half PPR, Lockett or Ayuk? I like Lockett a little bit more. Full PPR, pick one, Rashad Bateman, Elijah Moore, Kadarius Toney. I think Bateman's probably still safest, but Toney has the highest upside, and Elijah Moore sort of in the middle, but Elijah Moore hasn't seen the best target shares in the world, and I think it's a Jamison Crowder week. I really think that that slot matchup for him is pretty awesome against Miami. They've been basically the worst team against slot receivers this year. Let's go Bateman for floor, Kadarius Toney for ceiling. Need two running backs in a full PPR league. D'Ernest Johnson, Benjamin, Devontae Booker, Alex Collins. You're definitely going Alex Collins there, I'd say. And then I might just go with D'Ernest Johnson in case they go with a really run-heavy script. Half PPR, Bateman, Miles Sanders, Tyler Boyd. Let's go with Bateman there. Hurts or Russ at quarterback. Let's go with Hurts. Titans or Dolphins defense. I'm going with the Dolphins. Justin Fields or Derek Carr. Let's go with Derek Carr. Where does Huntley rank in the quarterbacks that I really shouldn't consider starting? He's still like a pretty low end, or like a mid range to low end QB2. Half PPR, Jeff Wilson or Michael Carter. Definitely going Jeff Wilson. Need a wide receiver in half PPR, Landry, Gallup, Bateman, or Claypool. Let's go with Gallup. Bateman or Claypool. Let's go with Claypool. Need a running back in half PPR, Antonio Gibson, Myles Gaskin, Mark Ingram, or David Montgomery. I'd go with David Montgomery there. I don't mind David. I mean, he's going to see a really good workload. I think you can make the argument for Gaskin for sure, but I'm going to go with Montgomery. Chicago D or Miami's now that Lamar's inactive. I'm still going Miami. I need 2, please. Lost Amari, Knox, Cole Kmet, Goddard, or Crowder. Let's go with Crowder. Again, I love his matchup against the Miami defense, given how they performed against the slot. Let's go with Crowder and Goddard. Full PPR, T. Higgins or Terry McLaurin. I've answered this one earlier. If you're worried about the matchup, as you are, Max, you can go with T. Higgins. That's fine. I think he's probably a little bit safer, but I mean, it's Terry McLaurin. He's a monster. He obviously is capable of having huge games. So if you want to go T. Higgins, I have no issue with that. Gronk or Knox, half PPR. Let's go Knox just because of Gronk coming back from that injury. PPR start Golladay, Mooney, Manny, or Ayuk. I will go with Manny there. T. Higgins or Darnell Mooney or Corey Davis or Marquez Callaway. Pick one in PPR. We're going with T. Higgins. Tua over Hurts. No, I'm still going Hurts. Bateman or Lockett in full PPR. I'm going Lockett. Collins or Peterson. Let's go with Collins. Need 2.5 PPR. Manny Sanders, Mike Williams, Jalen Waddle. That one's pretty tough. I mean, I think Waddle is a lock there. Mike Williams is obviously really volatile. I mean, Manny Sanders hasn't been seeing very good target shares of late either, but he's running a lot of routes. I might go with Mike Williams because it gives you a little bit more flexibility. You know, it's a night game. You can swap if you need to, et cetera, et cetera. I guess I'm going Mike Williams over Manny. Titans or Panthers D. Let's go Titans. Dan Arnold or Mark Andrews. Let's go with Mark Andrews. I mean, Hollywood Brown's out. I still think he's a decent enough play, even without Lamar Jackson. Quez Watkins or Devin Duvernay or Cedric Wilson. Pick one in PPR. Let's go with Quez Watkins. Although Cedric Wilson is a decent sleeper. I didn't talk about him on my show this week because everything that happened with Amari Cooper happened after I recorded. But yeah, Cedric Wilson's a decent sleeper as well. Elijah Moore, Kadarius Toney. I'm going Toney. Moss or Singletary. I think you got to go Moss. Cedric Wilson or Jamal Agnew. Let's take a chance and go with the higher scoring game and go with Wilson. Half PPR, pick 2, Jeff Wilson, Mark Ingram, T. Higgins. My opponent has Burrow, and I have concerns with the Saints offensive line. Look, if you want to go with Higgins over Mark Ingram because of your concerns, feel free. There is issues. I mean, they have injuries in the offensive line. I would not be shocked if Mark Ingram's more of like a high-end RB3 or a mid-range RB2 tops this week. He's likely not going to do what he did last week. Jeff Wilson's the lock, though, of those three. And then if you want to go Higgins over Ingram, that's fine. Lockett or Bateman, let's go Lockett. Andrews or Knox or the Muth. Let's go with Andrews. Choose 2 in full PPR. Thielen, Carter, or Bateman. I'm going with Thielen. And in a full PPR league, let's go Bateman over Carter. If Mike White were starting, I might be more interested in Carter because of all the dump offs. I mean, the target share that those running backs have seen with Mike White under center has just been unreal. But Joe Flacco under center, a little bit different. I can make a case for Carter over Bateman, but let's go with the wide receivers in full PPR. Darrell Williams or Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I'm going with Darrell Williams. Sit 1 in full PPR. Jeff Wilson, Mark Ingram, Pittman. I'd sit Mark Ingram, I think, in full PPR there. Devontae Smith or Rashad Bateman. I'm going Devontae. PPR need 2. Mike Williams, Dan Arnold, Jarvis Landry, Darnell Mooney. I'm going with Mike Williams, and I might go with Dan Arnold, honestly. Bateman or Toney. Already answered that one. Pick 1, half PPR. Mark Ingram, Darrell Williams, Jalen Waddle. Let's go with Ingram's probably the safest play, but I think Darrell Williams is the play that I would make. I think that there's just more upside there given the matchup. And I truly think that Clyde Edwards-Helaire coming off the injury, them having the bye coming up, he's not going to be used as much or logically. Of course, anything can happen. Of course, I could be wrong. I'm going to be wrong with a lot of things I say on the show. But I think Darrell Williams is the play that I would make in that case because just a better scoring environment. Hey, JJ, let's go have ourselves a day. I agree, Daniel. That would be great. Bryan Edwards or Deontay Foreman or Gerald Everett, pick 1 in PPR. Let's go Deontay. Half PPR, pick 1. Bateman, Ayuk, Tony Claypool. I am going to go with Ayuk there. Gallup or Bateman, I'm going Gallup. Pick 2 in PPR. Miles Sanders, Ayuk, Deontay Foreman. I'm going Ayuk and Foreman there. Struggling with Lamar out. Danny Dimes or Tyrod. Let's go Danny Dimes. I actually don't mind Danny Dimes this week that much. Rashad Bateman or Tony Pollard. I think Pollard's a little bit safer just given the quarterback situation. So if you need safety, go Pollard. If you need more of a ceiling, probably Bateman. JJ, happy Sunday. I'm nuked at running back with Kamara and Mitchell out. Sorry to hear that, Michael. Happy Sunday to you, though. PPR pick 2, Miles Sanders. I just answered that one. Half PPR, Mike Williams, Bateman, Tony, Ayuk. Let's go with Williams and Ayuk. Hi, JJ. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Happy early Thanksgiving to everyone. Need one with Murray probably out. Murray is, Kyler Murray. Okay. Sorry. I was thinking Latavius Murray. Big Ben, Cam, Simeon, or Daniel Jones. I would probably go with Cam there, but I think that you can make an argument for Danny Dimes. I really like Danny Dimes this week as a sleeper, but Cam's probably the safer play. With Lamar out, Andrews or Conklin in PPR. I love Conklin this week, but I'd still go with Andrews. Let's see. Cam or Fields. I think I'm going Cam over Fields. PPR pick 2, Miles Sanders, Ayuk, Deontay. I already answered that one. Marcus Johnson or Deontay Harris. Let's go with Marcus Johnson. Don't love the weather, though. Hey, JJ, Gaskin, T. Higgins, Lockett. Half PPR pick 2. Hope you're well. I would go with Gaskin for sure. And Higgins if I need more of a floor. Lockett if I need more of a ceiling. Pick 2, full PPR. Jeff Wilson, Myles Gaskin, Deontay Foreman, Miles Sanders. I'm going Jeff Wilson and Myles Gaskin there. Full PPR, Gaskin, Wilson, Foreman, Carter, Sanders. Again, I'm going Gaskin and Wilson there. Chicago D or San Francisco D. I answered that one earlier. I'm going with San Francisco still. Rashard Higgins viable today. I mean, I just don't like that game that much. I guess he's viable in like a deeper league. PPR pick 1, Bateman, Waddle, or Keenan Allen. I'm going Keenan Allen. Alex Collins or Rashad Bateman in full PPR. Full PPR, I'd go with Bateman. Pick 2, Darrell Williams, CEH, Boston Scott, or Devontae Freeman. Thanks for answering. I'd go Darrell Williams for sure. Might go Freeman as the other one, but I honestly am thinking about just stacking the Kansas City backfield in this case. Quarter PPR pick 1 wide receiver, 1 flex, Marcus Johnson, JD McKissick, Elijah Moore, Rashad Bateman, Darrell Williams. We're going Darrell Williams there, and we will go Rashad Bateman with him. Pringle or DeAndre Carter. Again, throwing darts. Let's go with Pringle, just a better game environment. Such a tough week for me. PPR, Miles Sanders or Kenyon Drake. I'd go Miles Sanders and take the risk. Pittman, Lockett, Carter, Foreman, full PPR pick 2. I'd go with the wide receivers. I'm nuked at running back with Kamara and Mitchell out. Pick 1 and 1 in a full PPR. Use check Ricard, Lindsey, or Burkhead. Again, this is one of those scenarios, guys, where, I mean, your guess is as good as mine. I'd probably go with use check and see if they utilize him as a pass catcher out of that backfield. But I mean, I don't have a strong feel for something like this. Rodgers or Burrow. I might go with Burrow over Rodgers this week, given that toe injury. Start Bateman or Robbie Anderson in PPR. I would still probably go Bateman. PPR pick 2, Miles Sanders, Ayuk, Deontay Foreman. I already answered this one. Newton or Tua. I'm going Tua. Newton or Fields. I'm going Newton. Ertz, Knox, and Arnold pick 2, full PPR. Let's go with Arnold and Knox because I don't think Kyler Murray is going to play. Higgins or McLaurin in the flex. I already answered that one. Hey, JJ, Tannehill or Burrow. I'm going to go with Burrow over Tanny, and I will go Pittman over Devontae Smith. Need 2 running backs in full PPR. Alex Collins, I already answered this one. I'm going D'Ernest and Alex Collins. Guys, I promise I'm going to get to as many as I possibly can. So asking the question over and over again just kind of slows things down in general. Pick 2.5 PPR. James Robinson, Jeff Wilson, Mark Ingram. I will probably go with Robinson and Wilson. Madison or Latavius. Would have to drop Madison to play Latavius. Yeah, just play Madison. Full PPR need 2 of Michael Carter, Jeff Wilson, Mark Ingram, and Gibson. Thanks. Love the show. I'd go with Jeff Wilson and Mark Ingram. Who do I cut to pick up Lamar's replacement? Goddard, Gesicki, Elijah Moore, Ramondre. You were probably about to say that you can't drop Ramondre because you already played him. Or he already played, I should say. I would probably drop Elijah Moore, but I don't say that confidently. It just depends on what your roster sort of looks like. Drop decisions are a little bit tough as an analyst because team context matters a lot in that case. If you want to drop a tight end, I like Goddard more than Gesicki from here on out. Better combo for DFS. I already answered that one. PPR pick 2, Miles Sanders, Ayuk, Deontay Foreman. Again, I've answered that one like 80 times. Renfro, Tony, Moore, half PPR pick 2. I will go with, I'm assuming this is I don't know which more you're referring to, so let's go with Renfro and Tony. Gronk or Ingram in PPR. Let's take a chance with Gronk. Bears defense over Dolphins. No, I'm going with the Dolphins. Hi JJ, thank you. You were the man. Thank you. Full PPR. Claypool versus Bateman and Ertz and Freiermuth. If this is the same team, maybe you can go with Bateman and Freiermuth. I think Freiermuth is the better play over Ertz. So straight up, I'd go Claypool over Bateman. But if you don't want so many eggs in the Steelers basket, you can go Bateman over Freiermuth if this is the same team. Full PPR need points. Yeah, I think everyone needs some points. One flex from Lockett, Jeff Wilson, Mooney, Claypool, Deontay Foreman. I'd go with Jeff Wilson. Bateman without Lamar, CEH 50-50. Goddard coming back from concussion playing against New Orleans, and Robbie Anderson with Cam. Which one should I flex in PPR? I would not flex CEH. I would go with Bateman over. Yeah, I'd go Bateman there. Rashad Bateman, Miles Sanders, Deontay Foreman. Let's go with Rashad Bateman. James Robinson or Alex Collins in half PPR. Let's go James Robinson. Thanks for doing this every week. It helps me out a lot. Non-PPR, need a win. Jeff Wilson, Miles, you're going Jeff Wilson there. Tua or Tannehill, I will go with I guess Tannehill, but it's close. I love Tua this week a lot. Waddle, Pittman, Devontae Smith, or Michael Carter. You need one of them. I'd go with Pittman still, I think, but I think you can make the argument for Waddle. Full PPR, Pittman, Tony, Corey Davis, Arnold. Pick 2, let's go Pittman and Tony. PPR, pick 2, Miles Sanders, Ayuk, Deontay Foreman. Christian, I have answered this 14 times already on this show, so please don't continue to ask the question. Gaskin or Jeff Wilson in full PPR. I am going Jeff Wilson. Saquon or Miles Sanders, full PPR. Go with Saquon there. JJ, thanks for doing these. Still prefer Muth to Hawkinson? Yes. Tua to Fields? Yes. New Orleans or Chicago defense? I will go with New Orleans. Let's go Chicago with the backup quarterback. Claypool or Elijah Moore? We're going Claypool. Half PPR tight end premium, Galladay or Conklin? You can go with Conklin in a tight end premium league. I'm cool with that. Half PPR, pick 1, Rashad Bateman, Kadarius Toney, or Corey Davis. Let's go with Rashad Bateman. Barkley or Jeff Wilson. I mean, I would probably go Barkley, but if you're a favorite and you feel pretty good and you don't want to risk Barkley not playing for whatever reason, then go with Jeff Wilson. There's no problem there. I think Jeff Wilson's a really good play this week. Foreman or Gibson in PPR. Let's go with Gibson over Foreman. Alex Collins, Chase Claypool, or Miles Sanders. Let's go with Chase Claypool there. Nico Collins, Carter, or Pringle. Let's just go with Carter. PPR, pick 1, Miles Sanders or Kenyon Drake. Have the other Eagles backs as well. If they're in your lineup, I'm assuming that's on your bench and not in your lineup. But I would go Miles Sanders over Kenyon Drake. Marcus Johnson or Cole Kmet or Quez Watkins or Devin Duvernay or Cedric Wilson or Adam Troutman. Pick 1 in PPR. I will go with Marcus Johnson there. Goddard or Gronk and Schultz or Knox. I would go with Schultz over Knox and Goddard over Gronk. Full PPR, choose 2, Thielen, Carter, Bateman. Let's go with Thielen and Bateman in full PPR. I think I answered that one already. Hawk, Ertz, Arnold. Let's go with Arnold. Bateman or Saquon. Let's go with Saquon. Flex play. Half PPR, Pollard, D'Ernest, or Knox. Let's go with Pollard. Cam Newton or Justin Herbert. I'm going Justin Herbert. Who do I cut to pick up Lamar's replacement? I already answered that one. Let's see. I got to scroll down a little bit because there have been a lot of repeat questions today. Cam Newton start or Justin Herbert PPR. Let's go Justin Herbert. Half point. Darrell Williams or Alex Collins. I'm going Darrell Williams over Alex Collins. PPR pick 1. Boston Scott, Latavius Murray, Eno Benjamin, Tony Jones, or Ty Johnson. Let's go with Latavius, I guess. A PPR, maybe go Ty Johnson. Half PPR, Jeff Wilson or Myles Gaskin. I lean Wilson, but I think you can make an argument either way. Bateman, Sanders, or Claypool. I am going to go with, let's see. I'll go with Sanders over those two. PPR, Justin Herbert or Cam Newton. Let's go Justin Herbert. Already answered that one. Chicago or Green Bay. I think you can go Chicago over Green Bay. D. Bateman or Sanders. Let's go Sanders. Gesicki or Knox. Let's go Gesicki. Knox or Gronk. Let's lean Knox. Gronk coming off the injury. Kmet or Dan Arnold. I'm going Arnold. Who do I cut to pick up? I already answered that one. Fields or Gimme. I don't know what that means. Jimmy, I'm assuming. Gimme. I mean, let's go with Jimmy Garoppolo. Full PPR, Marcus Johnson or Deontay Johnson. Definitely Deontay Johnson. Saquon going to play. Sounds like he probably will. Bateman or Foreman in full PPR. Let's go with Bateman in a full PPR league. Beasley or Gallup. Let's go Gallup. Bateman or Crowder. I'm still going to go Bateman there. Hey, JJ, pick one quarterback, one running back, one flex in PPR. Fournette, Jeff Wilson, Mark Ingram, or T. Higgins and Cam or Heineke. Let's go with Fournette, Jeff Wilson, and Cam. PPR, Bateman or Robbie Anderson. Let's go with Bateman over Anderson. Hey, JJ, thanks for doing this every week. I think I already answered this one. But let's go. I got one more question that I can answer. Is it crazy to play Dawson Knox over Kenyon Drake for a flex? No, Chris, it's not crazy to do that. It's 12:30. There were a lot of repeat questions today, guys. Just to let you guys know, I know that you guys want to get your questions in. I'm trying to answer all those questions, but the more that you repeat those questions, the slower the process just goes in general. So I would appreciate it moving forward to just ask it once, maybe twice if I clearly missed it, and I'll try to get to all of them. But if you have more questions, feel free to hit me up on Twitter at LateRoundQB. We have Jess and Bryan hopping on soon in just a sec. There is Jessica. How's it going? And
Good.
Bryan, how's it going, guys? You guys ready to talk some sports betting and get people ready for some NFL action?
Definitely.
All right, do it to it. I appreciate you guys. I will talk to you guys next week.
Sounds great. Bye.
All right. Thanks, JJ. So right now we're going to get into the betting portion of this. So if you guys have any questions relating to the spread, parlays, I have some notes. I have more notes than I did last time, Jess, when we did this a couple weeks ago. So I'm just letting you know. Right now, you can follow Jess at Gridiron and Wine. And the reason why I'm starting there is because, Jess, you're coming off a really good night of betting, as you posted last night on Twitter. You were 9-2-1 at the time of that post. And I think that people should be listening to some of the advice that you're going to give us today. So we're going to lead you into that. Jess, first of all, how are you feeling?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. I'm excited for this week 11. There's a lot of games that I like. And
okay,
yeah, I can
let's
give.
start
Yeah,
with,
I can. Would you like? Go ahead.
Yes, I'm having some audio issues real quick, but we're gonna get past that. All right, let's start with Lions Browns. Jess, let's start with Lions Browns because there's a lot going on here as it relates to injuries. Like Jared Goff is out, Tim Boyle's getting his first start, Baker Mayfield has a torn labrum, a bruised heel, a bone bruise, a whole bunch of other things potentially going on in his head. What are we looking at as far as today with Browns versus Lions? The spread right now, I mean, Lions plus 13.5 if you think they're gonna win, but not a game that I'm particularly interested in watching, but I think that this could provide a lot of theater. So how should we bet this?
Yeah, if I was going to, this is not one of my favorite games, but if I was to make a play on it, I would definitely lean the under. 42.5 is what I believe it's at right now. Reasons why is, and as well as I would probably lean the Browns, but, this is a perfect bounce back win for them. Nick Chubb is back, and he's number 1 in rush DVOA. He's facing a defense that's ranked 29th in rush DVOA, so this is going to be an easy game for them to be able to pound the rock in this situation. And the Lions, they're also allowing an average of 135.7 yards per game, which is 30th in the NFL. So Baker, and we have Baker, who, he's dealing with injuries. However, he's facing a extremely weak secondary. And another issue, though, on the Brown side is Donovan Peoples-Jones is dealing with a groin injury, but then what's the biggest issue with the Lions here? Goff is out. So now we have Tim Boyle, who's going to be starting. Yeah, he has a big arm, but he is also coming off of IR with a thumb injury. So, how 100% is he really? I'm not too sure. So that's why if there was a side I would choose, it would really just be the under on this. So that's the one game that I like. Another game that I'll talk about, which is one of my favorites going into this today, is going to be Miami versus the Jets. And I'm all about Miami on this game. I like them at -3. They're -3.5. I took them at -3. But the reason I like this is a divisional rivals that hate each other. Okay, Mike White was riding that Doge rocket, and just like Dogecoin, he was hot for a split second, and then he died just so quickly. And then here we have coming in is Joe, just old Joe, in my opinion. Last year he faced off against the Dolphins, and he got blown out 24-0. The Dolphins love to blitz, and they're finally looking like their defense is coming around. And Joe, clearly he can't handle that kind of pressure. We saw it last week. Hey, welcome back.
Listen, right at the start, technical difficulties. Look, it happens sometimes,
It's no worries.
It's out of my control. All right.
You're
Where
you're
were
good.
we?
You're good.
Where
Well,
were we?
I was leaning the Lions, and then I kind of jumped in just talking about the Dolphins and Jets game, because that's one of my
Okay.
favorite bets. But as far as the Lions game, I mentioned I lean the Browns, and I really like the under in that situation. But that's a stay away game for me. But if we had to make a play on it, those would be the bets that I would choose.
JJ, before we got on, he was saying how much he likes Tua in this game. I actually think that there could be like not much defense as it relates to Dolphins and Jets.
Definitely.
There's a player prop parlay that I'm interested in actually before we get into the lines. Joe Flacco to throw 2+ touchdowns and the Jets to win. That's plus 350 out there. So if you guys are interested in that, I'm not expecting. I'm not expecting a big Joe Flacco game, but I'm saying that if you guys want to bet that necessarily, I have not been interested in watching Joe Flacco play football in a very long time. The over-under is 44.5. I think that's kind of low. Jets are +4 at home, and the money line there are plus 162 there, Jess. I mean, you don't like Joe Flacco today. You made that clear. So where do we go here as it relates to Dolphins Jets? Are you with JJ, and do you like Tua to have a big game today?
I do. I do. I am with JJ. I like the Dolphins in this matchup. I think that they can easily cover, especially going up against this Jets defense, which is, they're 32nd in the league right now in total DVOA. So this is a great game for Tua to be able to bounce back and really show how well he's played. In the few games that he has so far this year against better defenses. And the best thing that Miami has going for them, though, too, is their defense is actually starting to really look good. It's turn around and play extremely well. And they also, like I mentioned, they love to blitz. And here they are going up against Joe, where we've seen in the past, he has a hard time dealing with pressure. And I see this same thing happening again in this matchup.
Remember, chat, comments, questions, parlays you like. Anything as it relates to betting, please leave them here. We're going to get to that. Let's go to Colts Bills. Another one of the 1 o'clock games is pretty interesting. Josh Allen he has a lot of interesting parlays that I was looking at. 350 passing yards plus 410, which is interesting because, the Colts defense is not something that I'm necessarily scared of as it relates to the Bills offense, though I feel like the Bills haven't been the Bills in the same way as they were last year. Josh Allen also 60+ rushing yards, plus 400, 70+ rushing yards. If you're really feeling frisky, that's plus 640 right now. But as far as the spread goes, Colts are getting +7. They're on the road. It's going to be tough. It's probably going to be very cold. Over under 49.5. And I think that I might go over there because I think the Bills are going to have a big I don't want to call it a bounce back game, but a reminder game, I guess we'll call it, Jess. So what do you see here as it relates to Bills versus Colts?
Oh, actually, I'm all about the Colts on this game.
Ooh.
Yes, I know we're opposite here. And I lean the under, to be honest. So, the past 7 games, the Colts have won 5 and lost in overtime to the Ravens and the Titans. The Colts offense is ranked 5th in rush DVOA, but Jonathan Taylor could have a tough matchup facing this defense that's ranked 3rd in rush DVOA. But like I've said, as well as I know a lot of other people said, when it comes to the Bills and who they've matched up this season, they really haven't played a lot of really good teams, and the really good teams that they have played, they've had a tough time. So this is going to actually be a game where we'll get to see, who really is going to come out on top. But, also on top of that, Wentz has also played extremely smart. And if he can go into this game and not make silly mistakes, which he is known to do, he should be able to, have a good game. And it is possible that he can experience the pressure from this Bills defense, and they could put him in uncomfortable situations for him to make mistakes. But looks like there's going to be rain in this game. So I think both teams will want to be able to rely on running the ball, and meaning the clock will run, and it's going to be low scoring.
Look, you went 9-2-1 yesterday. I did not, so I'll defer to you as it relates to Colts versus Bills. I did have a successful betting night as it relates to boxing, but that's another story for another day. Cam Newton returns to Carolina today and is facing Ron Rivera and the Washington football team, so that has a lot of theater in it. We should go right there. Cam Newton is getting his first start back in Carolina. Remember, he did not start last week, and he did still manage to score a couple touchdowns, but he is starting today. There was a video that Fanduel actually posted a little while ago of him being very excited and running across the field because it was his first time there in a while in that jersey. But as far as the game in particular, +3 for Washington, plus 148 on the money line for Washington. over under 42.5. Jess, how do we feel here? Are we expecting a big Cam Newton game? Because he hasn't had one of those in a while, and do we know if he's still capable of that?
I'm not fully sold on it just yet. If honestly, I really like Washington in this matchup. I think they're the way to go. And like you had mentioned, this is the perfect matchup between Ron Rivera and Cam Newton. Both teams are fighting for wild card, but you have to realize Antonio Gibson, he just had his best performance against the Bucks, who struggled against stopping the run. And here he could have another good game because he's facing the Panthers rush DVOA, which is ranked 19th. And then we have Terry McLaurin versus Stephon Gilmore. So that could be a tough matchup there. You have Carolina's edge rush duo in Hasten Reddick and Bryan Burns, which is one of the best in the league. So it's quite possible that Taylor Heineke is definitely going to experience the pressure. But, look at the other side of the ball. Washington football has the same duo. Yes, I know Chase Young isn't playing and Montez Sweat is dealing with injuries, but even with these guys out, they still have a stout front seven. And I know that it wasn't the defense we were expecting in the beginning of the season, but yet they're really coming around. And the Panthers, they're facing a secondary that's ranked 29th, so it's quite possible, that we could see some big plays from Cam. However, opposing quarterbacks have been throwing 15-plus yard passes to make Washington football team secondary look depleted. However, I've seen enough games of Cam throwing passes like this, and he can't make those anymore. So that's why I feel like this is going to be a good matchup.
Yeah, if you're in the Northeast like me, you saw a lot of those Patriot games on TV, and they were not pretty last year. But if you're feeling frisky, Cam Newton plus 275 passing yards, you can get plus 630 on that. I don't know if I would do that, but you can do that if you want to. Ravens Bears, because talking about injuries earlier, Lamar Jackson, we just learned not too long ago, is out with an illness. Tyler Huntley, former quarterback at Utah, is going to be getting his first start, the first start of his career. Allen Robinson's also out. Eddie Jackson's also out. So there's a lot of injury sort of ramifications here. And that line wiggled. That line moved to -1. The Bears are underdogs here, +1. Ravens are -1 favorites in Chicago. Over under drop to 40.5. So Lamar Jackson obviously had a lot of ramifications in terms of betting on this. But how did this sort of sit with you? Like, did this change your mind about this game at all?
Definitely. I'm actually bummed I didn't jump on this earlier in the week when the Bears were at +6.5, I saw. And if I would have bought that hook and got it at +7, I would be feeling really good right about now. However, I didn't do that. And now it's just straight pick 'em. It's a stay away game for me. I definitely, like I said, I leaned Bears, but now I just don't feel like there's any value anymore. If there was a play, I would honestly probably now lean the under 43.5, if that's what it's still at. But like, this is just, the injuries are going to be a big deal. Lamar is a huge part of that offense. He is that offense. So with him out is going to be, it's going to be a struggle. However, the Bears bounce back game for them. We could see a lot going on here, but it's one of those stay away games for me.
Let's do Saints versus Eagles, because again, like I'm hearing a lot of Jalen Hurts buzz. More people are believing. So we'll see how that goes in terms of betting on this. But right now, Eagles and Saints +3 to the Saints on the road. Over under 42.5. Feels kind of low, but the Eagles, as we talked about a couple weeks ago, they're very unpredictable. Jalen Hurts, I was surprised when I read this and saw this on the NFL Network this morning. First quarterback since 1950 with 3,000 passing yards, 800 rushing yards at his first 14 career starts. And I was like, it's Jalen Hurts. I don't think of him in that way, putting up historic statistics, no offense. Alvin Kamara also out, should be noted. So, Jess, Saints, Eagles. I mean, how do we feel about this one? Because this feels like a tough game to bet on today.
Oh man, I think this is the best play on the board. I love it.
Oh.
I was actually waiting for it to hopefully jump up to +3. I'm all about the Saints on this game. I'll start by saying the Eagles, they refused to run the ball in the beginning of the season, and in the last month, they're now running the ball more than anyone in the league. With that said, once again, I'm backing the Saints because of their defense and their ability to shut down the run. Okay, they are the best in the league, and they're getting no credit in the market right now, and I'll take advantage of it once again. I'm not worried with Kamara out because Mark Ingram has picked up the slack and has played extremely well. The Eagles suck at stopping the run, so I expect Ingram to be fed the ball often. Then You just need simple passes from Simeon. And I'm just not sold on the Eagles, even after that performance last week against a depleted Broncos defense. Okay. You have to remember that.
Yes.
And
Yes. Good point.
lastly, I'll just say that you have a Super Bowl winning head coach, Sean Payton, who will have his team ready to go in this matchup, even as the underdogs. That's why I really like this game.
I think those are all great points. Just want to know something. This is not a game that we need to spend time on, Titans, Texans. Unless you really want to, you could let me know. But lines did just move. Texans are now plus 360, and the over-under moved to 45.5. I think it was a little higher before or lower. I'm not too sure. But it moved to 45.5. So if you want to get on that, you can do that. But let's go to Packers Vikings, because that's probably that's one of the most talked about games on the board. Anytime that you see it and the two teams are good, people are always going to be interested in that. Vikings are at home. They're getting plus 1.5. So damn near a pick 'em, and over under 47.5 for a game that, we didn't see Aaron Rodgers be Aaron Rodgers last week, understandably so, because just got done with his bout with COVID and probably lingering effects, so he wasn't his true self. Are we expecting a return to form, or do we think the Vikings are going to sort of shut them down again?
Yeah. This is not one of the games that I like. I was actually going to say I liked the I'm all about the Texans.
We can jump back to that.
No, it's okay.
We can jump back to that for sure.
Let's talk about the Packers Vikings first. I'll kind of just give my input. I'm not on this game, but I do like the Vikings in this matchup. I also like the under as well. I feel like this is a divisional game, and I expect it to be close. Packers have won 3 of their last 4 meetings with the Vikings. It's something to keep in mind. But I just expect the Packers to run the ball often if they're facing a defense ranked 28th in rush DVOA. So if you have AJ Dillon in fantasy, I think he could have a monster game in this matchup. Plus, like you mentioned, Rodgers has a toe injury, so we could see this affect the game plan. And Packers just in general are dealing with a lot of injuries going into this game that is probably going to affect them. And then you have the Vikings, where they have led in every single game this season and have yet to lose more than by 7 points. And they're coming off their best win of the season against the Chargers last week. And I just feel like Cousins has shown he has extremely wonderful chemistry with Thielen and Justin Jefferson. So again, from a fantasy standpoint, I think that they could have a really good game too.
All right, let's go to Texans Titans, because I don't want to put that to waste. It sounds like you got something good for us there. So let's go right to that as the line moved. To remind people, if they missed it a second ago, Texans rather are now plus 360 on the money line. They're plus 10, and the over under moved to 45.5. So we had some movement there. Jess, what do you have for this game?
Yeah, well, just something to just keep in mind when you look at this matchup here. You have the Titans that have an 8-2 record, and then there's the Texans that have a 1-8 record, which is the longest losing streak in the league right now. The Titans, keep in mind, the Titans are 4-0 against the spread in their last 4 games, and against AFC opponents. Now, we have the Texans, where their defense isn't terrible. They're ranked 17th in total DVOA, and the offense is the issue with we have Davis Mills here. But this is going to be a great game for it to be a perfect letdown win for the Titans. And I just love the Texans because they have the reason I also really like the under in this is they're 4-0 against the Texans last 4 games on the road on a bad offense. So I just think this is going to be the perfect letdown game for the Titans to not be able to cover. The points are just too high.
Wow. Look, I'm going to take the advice, but man, I am not exactly getting up to watch any Texans football this season. So I don't think anybody could blame me for that necessarily. I think we should definitely do Cardinals and Seahawks, because there's still some lingering injury troubles here. One of the big 4:00 games, as it often is. DeAndre Hopkins is still out with a hamstring injury. Kyler Murray, I believe, is still a game time decision with that ankle. We don't know if he's going to play. We do know that if he does, he's not going to be 100%. And this is another close one. Cardinals are on the road in Seattle, getting plus 3. And that money line, plus 134. And the over-under, just like the game we talked about, 45.5. So not necessarily really high either. And it's about what you would expect. Like Cardinals, Seahawks, it always feels like it's 27-24 or 24-21, and somebody has a chance to win the game within the last 2 minutes. So should we expect some of the same things here, Jess?
This is a tough one for me, but if I was to choose a side, a lean side, I would definitely take the Seahawks in this matchup, especially because you just don't really know is Kyler going to be starting or not. I think that's a big deal, especially in this matchup here. Yes, we saw Wilson. He did have his worst game of his career last week after coming back from injury. However, that's just he just got his feet wet. So I expect him to come in. It's a home game, and he's gonna be able to show himself that he's playing extremely well, that he's still who he is. He's Russell Wilson. And I also feel like Lockett has been a disappointment from a fantasy standpoint. So this could really be a bounce back game for him too. And I just, like I said, they just, with the issues that are going on, I just feel like with the Cardinals, it's going to affect them.
Let's go to Bengals Raiders because that's a pretty fun one, I think. Bengals Raiders is also one of the 4 o'clock games, I believe, today. And this is another close one. There are a lot of close lines here. So if you're looking at spreads, you're going to see a lot of +3, +1.5, nearly pick'ems throughout this is one of the better slates that we've had probably so far this season in terms of competitiveness. And it's also late in the year now, or we're getting late in the year at least. Raiders are at home. Las Vegas Raiders are at home getting +1.5 against the Bengals. The over-under is 50.5, so it's one of the higher ones that we have today. There's a Jamar Chase prop bet out there. If you think that this is going to be a high-scoring game, you might want to take it. Receiving yards +110. He's at +290. If you want to go above that to +125, you'll get something around the +400, 450 range. So if you think Jamar Chase is going to go crazy against the Raiders, by all means, you can do that. Jess, Bengals Raiders. I mean, how are we feeling today? Because I think this could be one of the higher scoring games. I think both teams could probably get around that 30-35 sort of mark by the end of it.
Yeah, if there was a play I would take in this, it would definitely be the over. I really like it. And I even like that Jamar Chase, what you were just talking about.
The prop,
Yeah, the prop. Now let's look at this matchup here. Raiders pass rush will be likely the key factor in this matchup. Okay, you have the two-headed monster in Crosby and Njoku. If Cincy can protect Burrow from his attack rush, then Burrow should be able to get it done. The Raiders are giving up the 12th fewest passing yards per game, while the Bengals are giving up the 9th most in the league. Burrows has plenty of weapons though, and he should still be able to make big plays facing a secondary that's ranked 22nd. And, you have Jamar Chase being his number one option that he loves. Higgins, Boyd. The Raiders have one of the best tight ends in the league. Plus, Hunter Renfrow plays a great slot receiver. And Cincy's secondary is ranked 21st in DVOA. So all these weapons on both sides of the ball lead to a high-scoring game. And the over just is why I like it so much.
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting one. Again, I think that's going to be a very high-scoring game. One of the more high-scoring games as I'm looking at the board here and looking at the games we have. I think that's going to be one of the most high-scoring games we have this week. So it's going to be a lot of overs and a lot of props for guys getting 100+ yards or so for me in this game. And this is probably the same thing for the next one we're going to talk about, Chiefs-Cowboys. I mean, we can't not talk about potentially the game of the week, the one that some people have probably put, or not some people, a good amount of people have probably put money on this to be the Super Bowl at some point throughout the season, though I don't know if it looks that way now necessarily. Amari Cooper is going to be out for this game. I think Tyron Smith is either questionable or out or a game-time decision, something along those lines. And, Dak Prescott probably going to need your left tackle against the Chiefs, even against the Chiefs. Dak Prescott also number one passer rating in the NFL so far at 110.8. Chiefs Cowboys, one of the biggest games of the week. Jess, how do you feel about this one? +2.5. And by the way, that Cardinals Seahawks line also moved again. That is a 138 money line, +138 money line for the Cardinals. So that just moved again because this is all happening in real time. Cowboys Chiefs, +2.5. Cowboys on the road in Arrowhead. Over under 55.5. Now, is that too high, Jess, or do we actually think that this can be the shootout that we all expect and probably hope that this is?
I don't know. I think that's a lot of. I think that's too high. I would honestly lean the under, even though you have two powerhouse offensive quarterbacks. I just don't really see that it just happening. Now, because the biggest thing going into this game is it's really just going to show up on their defensive side. The Cowboys and the Chiefs have struggled in their situations when it comes to their defenses. And now here they are going up against this matchup where they both have two quarterbacks who both also have great receivers, and you have two and of course, and then there's Andy Reid to consider here, and and they're and they're going. It's just the time for these defenses to prove, how well they can play. And and if there was a side I like the Cowboys more too. I just think Dak and all of his weapons, even though yes, Mahomes, he played extremely well last week. He's now talking about the MVP again. He's like back in there. But I'm just not completely sold on the Chiefs just yet. I will take the Cowboys in this game.
Worth noting, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is back off IR. But Jess doesn't care. Jess is rolling with the Cowboys. So it's probably, and to be fair, I'm not sure how much of an impact that we don't know what his workload is going to be like. That was a knee injury that he's coming back from. So we'll see. Let's go to Sunday Night Football because we have a couple games left. Remember, guys, if you have questions, we have a few minutes before we're out of here. Steelers-Chargers. And the Steelers have a ton of injuries. Like Joe Hayden's out, Mika Fitzpatrick, and the big one, TJ Watt, all on defensive end. They're all out. Ben Roethlisberger is expected to start at least. So he's going to be back, and we won't see Mason Rudolph. Justin Herbert, kind of struggling, not having the season that many projected early on, or he was off to a good start and has since cooled off. But Sunday Night Football game spread is as follows. Steelers are getting +6, and the over-under is 47.5, which is actually a little bit lower than I would have expected. I'm not saying that I would bang the over here because I'm still pretty hesitant. I just expected this to be closer to 50. But Jess, what do we think? Steelers, Chargers.
Yeah, if I was to pick a side, I'm gonna have to go with the dogs on this because it is a primetime game here. So the Steelers is what I'm liking, +6. But something just like you mentioned, we have COVID issues on both sides of the ball in this matchup.
Yeah.
You mentioned Big Ben is questionable. However, he's not, as much as he's the quarterback, he is better than Mason Rudolph. But the biggest thing that we see that the Steelers have offensively is Najee Harris. And, he's facing a defense that allows 155 rushing yards a game. So I feel like this is going to be a game for Harris to play extremely well in and for them to utilize him as best as possible. Now, the Steelers are also 18-7-1 against the spread in their last 26 games as road underdogs. The under is also 7-2 in the Steelers' last 9 games. So the under is another way to go that I like too. And on the Chargers side of the ball, you have Joey Bosa, who is out, which is a total bummer. And Herbert is just going to have to play smart facing a secondary ranked 15th in DVOA. I expect them both to run the ball and utilize. I expect him to run the ball and utilize Eckler because the Pittsburgh, their rush DVOA is ranked 17th. So I feel like both teams on this side of the ball will play smart and just keeping it on the ground.
And finally, Monday Night Football, obviously. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are hosting the New York Giants, and a lot of my Giant fan friends here in New York are not very happy about that. The Giants, however, they're getting +10.5. Feels like a lot, but +10.5. Their money line is +400, one of the higher ones on the week. The over-under is 50. And just a quick note for people seeking parlays and games and things of that nature. Tight ends averaging over 5 catches and 51 yards against the Giants this year, and they've allowed 4 TDs, but they were all in the first 4 weeks. I just want to point this out there. Anytime TD score, Gronk +155, OJ Howard +320, Cameron Brate +400. And if you really want to look at that sort of stuff as it relates to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I would consider it because I feel like the Giants are due to give up a touchdown to an opposing tight end. Logan Ryan is out, so that might help. Sterling Shepard's also out, and Antonio Brown is also out. So there are a bunch of injury things happening here. So, Jess, Monday Night Football, Giants Bucks. Do we think that the Bucks are gonna have this bounce back game that we're anticipating after 2 straight losses?
It's possible, but I like the Giants actually. I just think that's a lot of points. 10.5. That's a lot. This is prime time. Weird things always happen. Plus, with Tom Brady's in there too. Weird things always happen with him when it comes to primetime games and betting on him. I know the Giants are 3-6, but I feel like they may be better than their record suggests. Saquon Barkley will be starting this weekend, so I expect him to be fed the ball early and often against a defense that's been asleep at the wheel lately when it comes to stopping the run. And Tampa is weak against the pass too, so it's possible Daniel Jones could put up some points on the board, especially when we've also seen how great he is on his legs. And rookie. I also expect rookie wide receiver Kadarius Toney to also have a big game in this matchup. And yeah, as much as the Bucks, the Bucks are the Super Bowl champs, defending. But I just feel like, again, like I said, it's prime time. They're also dealing with quite a few injuries, so yeah, 10.5 points is a lot.
It is, and I gotta say, I believe in the Bucks, obviously, to some degree, but I didn't totally believe in them all season last year either, and then they ended up winning the Super Bowl. I kind of feel the same now. I just don't. I just kind of hope, as a New Yorker who watched Tom Brady dominate this region for years, kind of don't want to see them win the Super Bowl again. So I'm totally fine with the Giants pulling off the upset. I just don't think that's going to happen. I do think they'll cover though, and that's all we need. We need a cover.
Yes. See, that's all I care about too.
All we need is a cover. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Remember, follow Fanduel on Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, and TikTok. Glad I remember all those places. I mean, you could find Fanduel on Facebook if you want to. You can do that too. I just don't typically use Facebook anymore, but that's just me. Follow Jess at Gridiron and Wine and spelled out. And then follow me at Bryan Fonseca, NY, Bryan with the Y because I'm Puerto Rican, and NY as in New York. Thank you, Jess. We'll be back at some other point. You can watch this again next week on FanDuel. So enjoy the games, take care, and happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, good.